Why do Spanish learners accidentally say embarrassing things about the weather? Today, you'll learn weather in Spanish the easy way. Vamos!
Today, we're going to break down absolutely the best ultimate travel hack for breaking the ice in Spanish-speaking environments. We're talking about that one completely universal topic, the weather. You know, if you really want to connect with people effortlessly, mastering this incredibly simple skill is without a doubt your golden ticket. Picture this scenario for a second, because we've literally all been there. You're walking around on this amazing vacation in Mexico or Cuba. You're surrounded by locals, taking in the sights. Maybe you're just waiting in line for coffee or standing in an elevator. But suddenly, you find yourself trapped in this heavy, totally awkward silence. You're missing out on these great, spontaneous conversations simply because you don't quite know how to fill that gap. Well, today, we are going to completely fix that. To transform you from a quiet observer into a super confident conversationalist, we're going to build up your Spanish vocabulary step by step. Here's our agenda for today. 1. The ultimate conversation starter. 2. Asking about the weather. 3. Describing the elements. 4. Expressing how you feel. And 5. Turning up the intensity. Okay, let's jump right into section 1. The ultimate conversation starter. Why weather? Think about how many times you're just walking around your own neighborhood and you hear someone casually say, "Wow, what a beautiful day today," right? Just like in English, observing the weather out loud is this universally understood, incredibly low pressure, and highly friendly way to invite a complete stranger into a quick conversation. It's the perfect bridge. Once you start talking about the weather, it naturally opens the door to asking for local recommendations, chatting about your trip, or honestly, just sharing a smile. Moving right along to section 2, asking about the weather. The inquiries. So you basically have 3 excellent, super common options for asking about the weather here. And having a bit of variety makes you sound so much more natural. The first one is arguably the most popular and direct. ¿Cómo está el clima? Literally, how is the climate? Now, your second option is incredibly common across pretty much all Spanish-speaking regions. ¿Qué tiempo hace? And finally, if you want to sound slightly more casual, you can go with our third option. ¿Qué tal está el clima? Just memorize one of these and you instantly have the power to break the silence anywhere you go. All right, let's look at section 3, describing the elements, the environment. The absolute simplest way to speak generally about the conditions is to just contrast a good day with a bad day. If it's absolutely gorgeous out, you say, hace buen tiempo, the weather is nice. If a nasty storm is rolling in, you simply say, hace mal tiempo, the weather is bad. Notice the verb hace right there. It's basically the engine driving these environmental descriptions. But of course, sometimes you need to get a little bit more specific. When describing the general temperature outside, we continue using that hace structure. Hace frío for cold and hace calor for hot. But you can actually take it a step further and explain exactly why it's cold or hot by adding the specific weather events. So for example, you can say, hace frío porque está nevando. It's cold because it is snowing. Or, hace calor porque está soleado. It's hot because it is sunny. And hey, if your vacation takes a wet turn, you can note that está lloviendo. It is raining. Connecting the temperature with the specific condition makes your Spanish sound incredibly fluid. Now for section 4, expressing how you feel, the internal state.
Pay close attention because here is the single most crucial point in this explainer, and it's a super common stumbling block for English speakers. In English, we use the verb to be for pretty much everything. We say the weather is hot and I am hot. But Spanish draws a really strict line here. The environment uses hace, but for your internal state, Spanish requires you to use the verb tener, which means to have. So while the weather makes heat, hace calor, you personally have heat, tengo calor. It takes a quick mental shift, but once it clicks, you are golden.
Following that exact rule, when describing your personal state, you must always say yo tengo frío if you feel cold, or yo tengo calor if you feel hot. You can even drop the yo and just say tengo frío or tengo calor. But listen, I have one absolutely crucial warning for you here. Please completely avoid trying to literally translate I am hot into estoy caliente. In Spanish, saying estoy caliente does not mean you're reacting to the warm weather. It carries a completely different adult connotation that you definitely 100% do not want to accidentally announce to a stranger in a coffee shop line. Just stick to tengo calor and you will stay right out of trouble. Finally, let's dive into section 5, turning up the intensity, the intensifier. You know, the magic trick to sounding fluent and natural isn't about memorizing 100 new complicated words. It's actually just learning how to modify the ones you already know. Enter the adverb mucho. This simply means very or a lot. By using this one single word, you can express extreme levels of temperature or personal feeling. It really is as simple as dropping mucho right into the middle of the equation. Think of it like this. You take your base phrase, let's say, hace frío, meaning it is cold. Step 2, you add the adverb mucho. Step 3, combine them. Hace mucho frío. You've instantly upgraded it is cold to it is very cold. It's a tiny addition, but it has a huge conversational impact. And the absolute beauty of this rule is that it works perfectly across the board. Whether you're talking about the severe weather outside, like hace mucho frío or hace mucho calor, or your own intense physical reaction to those temperatures, tengo mucho frío or tengo mucho calor, the mucho sits securely right in the middle. Just remember, don't say mucho nevando or mucho lloviendo. You want to keep the mucho tied directly to the nouns frío and calor. Lastly, if it's just an exceptionally extreme day out there and you really want to be extra expressive, maybe you just walked out of a beautifully air-conditioned hotel lobby straight into the sweltering heat of Mexico, you can drop these exclamatory phrases to dramatically proclaim your feelings. You just throw your hands up and say, "Qué frío," meaning what cold, or "Qué calor," meaning what heat. It's emotive, it's highly authentic, and a local is almost guaranteed to nod right back at you in agreement. So, we've covered the why, the inquiries, the environment, your internal feelings, and exactly how to intensify your statements. Now that you're armed with these incredibly practical tools to break the ice anywhere in the Spanish-speaking world, I want you to put it to the test right now. Here's my challenge for you. Look out your window, wherever you are at this exact moment, and answer me out loud using your brand new vocabulary. Tell me, ¿qué tiempo hace? Master these small talk hacks, and you won't just be avoiding those awkward silences on vacation, you'll be taking your first real steps into a whole new world of
Excelente! Now you can talk about weather in Spanish like a pro. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below. Hasta luego!